but we bring back Jennifer Griffin, who has new information from the Pentagon tonight. Jennifer, what are you hearing?
Well, Sean, those B-2 bombers that took part in the strike on Fordo, they are on their way back home. They are on their way back to Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. That's a round trip of about 30 hours, and they will be refueled along the way. In terms of bomb damage assessment, as Chad was discussing, there's no indication at this point that there needs to be a second wave of airstrikes. The initial bomb damage assessment, which was done immediately over Fordo, the president himself said in a tweet, in a Truth Social post, that Fordo is gone. What he meant by that is that the 6 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs that were dropped, most likely there were 3 bunker busters dropped in each of the 2 vents, I'm told, that are at Fordo. So there was a lot of focus on the entrance and the exit to the site, but in fact, I'm told what was much more important to look at were the vents. And there are 2 vents into Fordo, and if they dropped 3 bunker busters into those, they would have dropped them sequentially. The first 30,000-pound bomb would have cleared the way, would have gone down at least 200 feet, exploded, removed earth, and then the second and third would have gone in. And that is why I think the president said with confidence tonight that Fordo is gone. But I've also been speaking to other sources, Sean, who tell me that Isfahan, the underground enrichment site at Isfahan, was in fact a harder target than Fordo. A lot of talk about Fordo in recent days, but again, all part of this operation has been a great deal of deception. So all eyes on Fordo and the B-2 bombers, but at Isfahan and Natanz, we understand, based on your conversation with the president, that 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired from those submarines, submarine or submarines. It's not clear whether one or more were used, but 30 Tomahawks targeted Isfahan and Natanz. And I'm told that Isfahan was, in fact, the hardest of the 3 sites. And in terms of what kind of submarine was used, I'm told from well-placed sources that it was likely a converted Ohio-class guided missile sub. So that would be like the USS Florida or USS Georgia, as Lucas first reported earlier this evening, Sean.
Let me ask you, Jennifer, if I may. I mean, obviously, this phase of this military operation has been a complete success, as you are describing. I am told that the Pentagon, the Defense Department, the president, everyone on his team have gamed out any and every possibility of any retaliation of the Iranians, and that part 2 of this mission is already in play, and that is to protect every American asset in the region. Have you heard the same?
Absolutely, Sean. These war plans have been honed for the last 20 years, and they are honed very frequently. And part of the most important part of this, the first night of strikes against Iran's nuclear program, were always going to be the easiest. They are technically very challenging in terms of the complicated refueling of these B-2s that fly all the way from the United States. But that is actually the easy part, as we have described, especially since the Israelis had helped with getting air superiority over with the last 10 days of bombing of those air defense systems in Iran. But now comes the hard part. Now comes the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which has, they have a navy that can essentially plant mines in the Strait of Hormuz. We heard there was an explosion earlier tonight at Bandar Abbas where an Iranian Navy vessel had been blown up. At first, they thought that it was the Israelis, but then the Israelis denied it was them. I would bet, Sean, that there are U.S. Navy SEALs and others right now preparing for a counterstrike. Certainly, the U.S. took many precautions. There is nobody at the American embassy in Iraq right now. All of the ships at the Fifth Fleet, based in Bahrain, have been moved out to sea, Sean.
All right, we really appreciate it. We'll come back to you, Jennifer Griffin, at the Pentagon tonight. We appreciate you being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.